Hi, everybody. Will here with this week's edition of the Coach's Corner.
Coach's Corner with Will Alexander and George Alston. Brought to you by ProPlan and Canine Chronicle.
Well, hey, George, how's it going today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. It's super. It's raining like heck here on the Eastern Shore. We're not used to getting bad weather over here. This is God's country, but 2 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. But we're doing pretty good. We're
Oh,
doing
it's
pretty good.
beautiful here. Sunshine. It's a little chilly still, but it's
Well,
sunshine bright.
that's Canada. You got all kinds of good stuff up there in Canada. Hey, we've had lots of uh, questions coming in.
I knew we
And
would.
I'm going to do the first one is going to be a young lady.
All right.
This is something that is close to my heart. Is the juniors?
Do you want to read off her question?
Yes, I'm going to read her question, and it says, "I'm a junior in the States who would love to pursue a career in professional handling. I started at 15. And my family is not really into dogs, and I would like to know how to go. What is the best way to go about it? First
Right.
of all, finish your education.
That's
Is
number
most
one.
absolutely
Yeah.
important because you never know what's going to happen. You always need something to fall back on. There is uh, every successful handler has had some method to fall back because the economy can go bad. People don't have the money. We had gas crisis when people couldn't get to dog shows and they couldn't even get their dogs to the handlers, or the handlers couldn't get to the dog shows. Some handlers, most handlers, shall we say, have boarding kennels. Uh, my oldest daughter, Jane, uh, had a boarding kennel. I had a boarding kennel. Uh, my young daughter, Jennifer, is a school teacher. She shows dogs professionally, but she doesn't carry a big string, but she has to fall back on. There's a lot of handlers that had um, second jobs. One of the great boxer handlers on the East Coast, Dick Baum, had a business. He was a businessman, very successful, but he was also one of the most successful boxer handlers of all time, and a great handler. Um, there probably only about 5% of the professional handlers in the country do it as a full-time profession.
Well,
Most,
they all have some sort of supplementation, I
yes,
suppose. But yeah, there's a lot out there that rely on dog shows. Let me tell you.
absolutely. But of all the ones that are out there, it only runs 5 to 10%
Maybe.
that don't have some other form of an income. And it's but now, once you have your education, and it doesn't have to be college, it can be a trade school. Um, it can be an apprenticeship in doing a very famous handler out on the West Coast, um, uh, Bruce Schultz, and a great handler, um, and showed a lot of top dogs and had it. But he was a finished carpenter. He had a trade as a finished carpenter. So he always had that he could fall back on. Also, too, my oldest daughter Jane, who went best in show at Westminster in '96 with the Clumber, she was went to college and she was a histotech, and then Johns Hopkins put her through the rest of the way through school, and she was a cytogeneticist working on chromosomes and genes. Um, and before she went into handling, uh, so all the great handlers always had some kind of something to fall back on. They didn't have to rely 100% on the one thing which is dangerous. Once you have that, then you find the best professional handler you can and go and see about getting a job. And you're not going to make any money. They're probably you know that $20 an hour routine that you get in California isn't going to work. But I know I apprenticed for 12 years. Uh, Will, how long did you apprentice?
Overall, probably about 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
Five.
kind of thrown into it though because of what happened with Gary, so I had to kind of step up and be a handler right away. I wasn't ready to be a handler, but through tragedy, I had to step up. So
Well, it's like me. I went and apprenticed for 4 years and thought I knew it all. My first apprenticeship was with Lena Basquette, and then 3 years with Jane and Bob Forsythe. And I said, okay, I'm a hotshot assistant and I can do it all. And I went out on my own, was licensed by the American Kennel Club in 1961. And I said, after a year, I said, I don't know enough.
right.
And I turned my license back in and I went back in and did um, 8 more years.
They all with
And
Bill Trainer?
no, it was with uh, an old setter handler up in Massachusetts. Oh, my age is gone. I'll think of his name. And then I was with Bill Trainer for 6 years, and it, I would never have been able to do what I did. One of the greatest things Bill Trainer gave me was he allowed me to do my own thing. Uh, he allowed me to develop my own style of trimming, my own style of handling. Even though he disagreed, he was a true mentor. He didn't try to make me into a little Bill Trainer. He would watch me, and if he saw me moving in the wrong direction, he would nudge me back in towards the center. But
That's
but
a good
don't
mentor.
don't limit yourself to one handler. Go and learn from a couple of handlers. You work for two
Yeah,
or
I worked for
three.
probably 3 total.
Yeah.
But I'll even tell you, George, in my early career, I was still learning. I used to team up with established handlers like Garrett Lambert, and whatnot, and still learn. Still, like I may have been on my own, but I still fed off
You
these guys.
you didn't stop learning even at Madison Square
No,
Garden winning that. I don't know. You called some old dude down here in the States a lot, and I don't know. He put up with your Canadian nonsense, but by the way, folks, he used to call Will used to call me every once in a while.
I think I
But
still do.
oh yeah, I mean we never stop learning. Um, get as much education as you can, and then go work for good handlers. Don't walk in thinking you're gonna uh, be a. Don't say, "Hey, how many dogs can I show?" Uh, that's not what you're going to go in and you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to take care of your dogs, how to train your dogs, how to treat customers and clients, and also learn the business
Right.
part
And
of
that
it.
wouldn't be a bad thing just to take a short business course too.
Oh, absolutely. Take a business course. This is what I did is, and then also be prepared to have a second. When Mary Ann and I started the kennel, uh, for the first 3 years, I did the night audit. It's at Holiday Inn from 11 at night till 7 in the morning, and then ran the kennel during the day. Mary Ann taught school uh, for the next 3 years, because we couldn't afford it. We started with a month's rent and $10.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that. Be prepared. It, and also too, it's a tough business. It's a hard business. Um, you are caring for people's dogs 24/7, and but it's very gratifying, very rewarding working with the dogs and working and learning from your clients.
And I can't express anything more than they need to learn animal husbandry as well. They need how to look after those dogs. So pick a handler that has great animal husbandry skills so that you learn that the dogs come first, no matter what. Dogs come first before the ribbon comes first. You want to make sure that dog's looked after as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, and also learn, the dogs eat before you do. I mean, and in the old days, we used to have to drive between shows. We didn't have circuits where we had 6 shows on the same grounds. The old Tar Heel circuit, we were off and running.
Each night, yeah, like the
Well,
old Florida circuit.
the old Florida circuit was 12 shows in 14 days,
Yeah.
and in a different venue. We didn't have 6 shows in one place. But yes, that animal husbandry, uh, the feeding of a dog, the conditioning of a dog, and breed is each breed is totally different, and it's the more that you can learn. And while you're working for a handler, make friends with other handlers and learn from them. I
Right.
would be working for Bill Trainer. I'd sit on, when I would have a little time off, I would go over and sit with Ricky, uh, with um, with Cliff Hallmark, or I would sit with Bobby Fischer, or something like that. When you were working for Bobby Stebbins, when you had free time, he'd tell you
Oh
to
yeah.
go watch so and so, or go over and see about trimming on what he's doing, or something like that.
That was nonstop education. Like we worked hard, but he was always trying to teach me something. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And Bobby Stebbins was one of the great mechanics that ever walked. I, as a handler, I learned from Bobby Stebbins, and Bobby Stebbins taught a lot of people. He never got the recognition for it, but um, anyway, I hope that answers your question. I went a little long in the tooth there. Okay.
I think it did.
Can we do we have something for a real short on this?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. We have time.
Okay.
Let's do another quick one then.
Okay. This is
We
right
have
from
time.
we have time for this. When you're showing your dog, remember you are an artist. An artist, you are creating a picture for the judge that you're trying to sell to the judge, just like an artist does a painting or a sculpture. However, an artist is able, once he finishes his picture and it goes up on the wall or the statue gets cast in bronze, he never has to touch that again. But you, as an artist, when you go in the ring and you set your dog up, it has to be perfectly set up every single time. Once in a while, every time. Where owner handlers make a mistake, they go in the ring and the first time they set their dog up, it is perfect. And then they get all confuddled and they start to get a little bit under pressure, and then they don't set them up perfect. But they're competing against a handler that he's setting the dog up perfectly every single time. Now, here's a little tip. When it gets down to the end and you start to get a little nervous or under a little bit of pressure, think half speed. Go half speed. It'll really be normal speed, but your adrenaline's pumping and you're speeding things up. Go half speed. You'll find that it will work out much, much better.
I found out the hard way.
That is that's the trick this month for Coach's Corner.
Well, thanks, George, and we'll catch up to you soon.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, George. Those are lessons I've been learning my entire life. Till next time, guys.